Fisheries Authority renews commitment to education. KIK explains coconut disease in Madang. And City School gets first e-classroom.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Tuesday's news. This week, the National Fisheries Authority and the Department of Education renewed an agreement that allows for NFA to continue its support to TVET institutions offering fisheries courses in the country. The MOU is in place for the next 3 years.
The MOU signing yesterday between National Fisheries Authority and National Department of Education will now see more people in TVET institutions receive knowledge and upskilling in the fisheries sector.
The resources working closely with the TVET division and basically working on training of instructors. We've had instructors from vocational school coming across to the National Fisheries College to basically training in fisheries, and at the same time working closely with them at various vocational schools in the training of vocational students. So that's the training side of it on the manpower. We also strengthening the infrastructure side.
Education Secretary Dr. Combra stressed during the signing that TVET institutions are vital for nation building.
TVET is a sector that helps to build a country, and it's a very important part of our education process and systems that we have to support TVET.
Although NFA continues to invest, there are still challenges faced with the care of fisheries equipment.
I think on the other side, we need to look after those equipments and take charge of those equipment to be able to maintain them so that those facilities like dinghies, nets are available for the vocational schools to run training.
Despite the challenges, the collaboration in team efforts between both national departments is crucial to see the agreement progress.
It's about working together and addressing those challenges and moving forward. Importantly, is about us training our vocational schools to be upskilled.
Lilian Superakinea, National EMTV News.
The Emboment Commission has presented a final report to be tabled in Parliament. The report covers an investigation into the alleged abuse of Eastern Highlands Provincial Government Project Trust account, as well as the alleged misuse and misapplication of provincial services grants by the Madang Joint Provincial Planning and Budget Priority Committee. Present to receive the reports from members of the Commission on behalf of the Speaker was the Clerk of Parliament, Mr. Vela Conivaro. Conivaro assured the Commission that the reports will be tabled when Parliament convenes in January 2019. The Bogia coconut syndrome, or phytoplasma, found in coconut palms is a plant disease that has killed hundreds of coconut palms in Madang province. Managing Director of Coconut Industry Corporation, Dr. James Kayulo, says this disease is only found in Madang. There is a checkpoint set up at Tapo, which connects Madang to the National Highway, which ensures the disease does not spread to other provinces.
The coconut industry in the country is currently confronted with the Bogia coconut syndrome or phytoplasma, a plant disease spread by insects. The disease is only found in Madang province. Although it was discovered more than 2 decades ago, it was only reported in 2007.
But it was never reported until in 2007 when the villagers came down and reported to our coconut inspector in Madang that they said their coconuts were dying from this strange disease. So that's when the work started on it. So we've been involved, KK and CCI at that time, and now KK alone will deal with this phytoplasma that we are dealing with it. It's also a threat to oil palm. So that's the reason why we work together with oil palm people, try to understand the behavior of this particular phytoplasma and how it affects coconut palms and all.
At present, this disease can be hosted by taro and banana and possibly yam. This disease can also spread to oil palm. If not dealt with, the Bogia coconut syndrome poses a risk to food security. as it is now affecting taros, bananas, and possibly yams.
Food security is a major issue in our country because of it's affecting the banana and taro plus yams. So, and also sago is also a suspect, but the samples collected from sago are not very conclusive. So at this stage, yeah.
The Coconuts Industry Corporation has also discovered that the disease has also spread to Kakar Island and around the border areas of Madang and East Sepik, and there is no treatment for phytoplasma. The only way to sustain the coconut industry is to plant BCS-resistant coconut varieties.
You just have to. The only way for the coconut industry to be sustainable is basically you get the resistant coconut varieties. So that's at the moment. Madang is basically, for us, it's an open laboratory.
Martha Louise, National EMTV News, Madang.
And the Coconuts Industry Corporation in Madang is hosting a week-long training program for its coconut researchers, focusing on statistical analysis. Managing Director of KIK, Dr. James Kayulo, says the researchers will be given basic training in statistics. Dr. Kayulo says development officers within the provinces will also undergo similar training to help them to provide simple analysis of data and surveys, which they do in their respective provinces. You're with National EMTV News this Tuesday. We will continue with more of the day's other stories when we come back. Stay tuned.
Whatever our work may be, sing out strong as far as you can see. Whatever language people are taught, come on, everyone join in. An exciting adventure is about to begin. 'Cause there's one thing we all know, when it's time to get up and go. Sharing stories make the call. Our favorite biscuit, the best of all. M now, BFG. M now, BFG. M now, BFG.
In our harsh and vibrant landscape, Dulux Weather Shield is the perfect choice to protect your building against everything Mother Nature throws at it. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
I really love Papua New Guinea and the people here and everywhere that you travel to in the country and their customs and culture. And there's just so much beauty in their smiling faces.
Super interesting, a lot of fun. PNG is awesome and unexpectedly amazing.
You can be hiking an active volcano 1 minute, and you can go down and cool off in the blue waters the next. There's just no shortage of adventures to be had here.
You could see the fish swimming and all the dolphins jumping. It was just a magical experience.
I've been having amazing experience here in Papua New Guinea.
I think this is the most beautiful place I've ever been. You know, with the crystal clear water and the people, there's just no place like it.
They continue to invade our homes, disrupt our livelihoods and threaten our health. But we can stop this cycle of destruction. Reach for Mortein's fast knockdown multi-insect killer. Our trusted technology knocks down and kills flying and crawling insects fast. Trusted technology that kills fast. And at night, you can rely on Mortein coils to repel mosquitoes and protect your family. Choose Mortein for trusted family protection.
More smart, more safe, Mortein.
Mining na petroleum is kulim ol tisa na buildim classroom blongol sumatin. Mipla iputim planti money inside longol health center na all health programs. Mipla ibuildim road na bridge long bringim service longol people. Na mipla ihalivim long rausim all kind sick. Na give him clean water blong drink longol PNG man Mary by stop healthy.
Mining na petroleum kamapim good pla behind time long Papua New Guinea.
This platotok ikam long PNG Chamber of Mines na petroleum.
Wednesday on Culinary Journeys. 2 Michelin star chef Michael White is on a journey to discover the relationship between a chef and a farmer. Michael White setting out to visit another very passionate old friend, Rick Bishop, a farmer and owner of Mountain Sweet Berry Farm.
Well, we nicknamed Mountain Sweet, and then that became the name of the farm.
Culinary Journeys, Wednesday 7 p.m. right here on your #1 to watch, EMTV.
Welcome back to the news. A 14-year-old girl was kidnapped at her home at 8 Mile last Friday at around 8 a.m. Jacqueline Dama from Simbu Province was hanging her grandmother's laundry when she went missing. Her father, Joseph Dama, who is a local community leader, says his daughter is a humble and God-fearing person and would never run away from home. Dama urged the kidnapper or whoever that took her daughter to bring her safely back.
Friday morning between 8 and 10.
First e-classroom at New Erima Primary School. This new concept is being rolled out by Dove Electronics in partnership with the National Capital District Commission. Dove Electronics is a fairly new company founded by a former teacher who aims to help students to learn in a better environment.
David Kiapin is a teacher by profession who has been teaching in schools for about 13 years before he resigned to start his own company. As a teacher, he realized that students were very passionate with anything electronic, so he decided to use this electronics as a learning tool to improve their quality of education.
You will find most of our students, our kids, they have this and they know better than most of us. So that's where their interest lies. And if we put learning into such equipments like that, they will just move on with that. And that will inspire them to learn more, to be more innovative, creative in terms of learning.
Mr. Kiapin and his wife Anna started Dove Electronics with capital of just 300 kina while living in a settlement at Garden Hill in Port Moresby. After 2 years of many challenges, Dove Electronics has now expanded.
This is my wife. We started it from Garden Hill settlement. And that's way back in 2014, where we rented at Garden Hill settlement. There is no water, there is no power supply, the toilets are pit toilets, are not good. But I told my wife, I said, let's start something rather than just teaching, because I see that if I continue teaching, my children will not inherit my career. So we decided to start up something. We started from 300 kina, just 300 kina.
Today was a dream come true for Mr. Kiapin when his first e-classroom project was launched at New Erima Primary School. The e-classroom project is an initiative of NCD Governor Poes Pakop. Dove Electronics now looks forward to installing more e-classrooms in 10 schools in NCD and also plans to expand to other provinces as well. Michelle Awamoromoro, National EMTV News.
And as mentioned, New Erima Primary School in Port Moresby today welcomed its first electronic classroom. The e-classroom program is an initiative of NCD Governor Poes Pakop. Patricia Kiamo with the details.
The electronic classroom contains 21 laptops, a projector, and a printer. The laptops were programmed and installed by Dove Electronics. Governor Pakop said the use of laptops and ICT is to ensure an effective learning for both the teachers and the students.
We must achieve this goal where all the primary school, elementary school too, they are catching up with the world. E-learning, e-classroom, digital age coming to our elementary and primary school. So when our children start early, by the time they go to secondary school, they are smartest guys. Very clever, very innovative.
5 more primary schools in NCD are targeted for similar e-classrooms in the near future. Governor Pakop says within the next 5 years, his aim is for all primary schools in the nation's capital to have electronic classrooms. Whilst the construction of the e-classroom is a welcome addition, there are concerns that the school may need more classrooms to cater for increased class sizes, something which the NCD governor has committed to look into. Patricia Kiamo, National EMTV News.
In June this year, the National Fisheries Authority funded the construction of the temporary markets in Alota, Milne Bay Province. These markets gave way for the demolition and construction work on the main project, which is the Alota Town Market and Fisheries Facilities Project. This project is funded through a 33 million kina grant from the government of Japan through its major development partner, JICA. NFA Managing Director John Kasu has told MTV that the program is progressing well and should be completed by September in the year ahead.
Work has started already, and basically Dai Nippon is the one that contracted under JICA to be the main contractor, and they're working very closely with a subcontractor to construct that. We are very keen in, and I think the completion will be somewhere in the middle of next year, around September.
This is the time of the year when most schools have their graduation ceremonies. For the Salle Technical School, the graduation ceremony was a little more special, with a song sung by the students composed by one of their own. Ivan Ari wrote and composed the graduation song and taught more than 100 of his graduating peers to sing during their graduation.
"21-year-old Ivan Are and 20-year-old Leonard Isaiah are two musically gifted young men. Ivan started playing the keyboard when he was 5 years old, and Leonard is an exceptional guitarist. Ivan wrote and composed the song titled "With God on Our Side." This song was sung at the school's graduation this week.
We came up with a team, the whole grade 11s, we came up with a team, and for our class, I wrote the song. I wrote it 2 weeks earlier, and when they gave the team, I just fitted it into the song. So that was how, but I don't really write songs.
The song was chosen during a graduation song competition done 2 weeks ago where it won first place. Ares said he wrote the song as a dedication of gratitude to the hardworking teachers and school staff of Salle Tech.
To look for a job, just work for 1 year, 2 year experience, and then I can go for more studies in other institutions.
Are and Isaiah both said that their future ambitions are to find jobs in the specific trade in electoral technology, but still continue to make music. Tamara Pia Agavi, National MTV News.
You're watching Tuesday's News. We go for a break, and when we come back, we take a look at what's making headlines overseas. Don't go away.
You too can now experience the refreshment of pure PNG with True water, sourced from an ancient aquifer, carbon filtered, ultraviolet and ozone treated, and the finest purification with reverse osmosis.
And that means the science lesson is now over. Settle back and refresh yourself with PNG's finest. Reach for a chilled True water. Pure PNG.
For nearly 3 decades, the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum has been promoting free trade and development in the Asia-Pacific region. Through APEC, economic output in the Asia-Pacific has more than doubled, helping businesses' growth and employment. Through APEC, we are strengthening our economy, particularly in areas such as small businesses, tourism, agriculture, and information technology. We will continue to grow our economy and create more jobs as we host APEC in 2018.
Lady Speed Stick presents Barbara Blade in the heat of the city. More action and adventure. She's always protected and fresh and uses Lady Speed Stick that controls wetness and odor for effective protection that lasts up to 24 hours. She's always fresh, ready for anything and anyone. The new Lady Speed Stick, fresh, strong, confident.
Pacific Way, bringing you the story that matters to Pacific people. Culture, tourism, health, environment, and livelihood of individuals and the communities. Pacific Way, Wednesday 7:30 p.m. right here on your number one to watch, EMTV.
Welcome back to National EMTV News. Turning overseas now, a bushfire stretching 60 kilometers is threatening Queensland homes, forcing hundreds of residents to flee. 4 homes have already been destroyed by flames up to 12 meters high.
A wall of flames inches closer to hundreds of homes on the Queensland coast as firefighters battle in hellish conditions.
We might do something in a minute.
Those in its path can do nothing but run.
It was just like a monster coming through, you know, it's just all red. It was just, we just had to run, didn't we? Otherwise, I don't think we would have got out.
More than 17,000 hectares are burning, forcing up to 600 to flee their homes. The flames most intense in the bush at Deepwater, where water itself is in short supply. And tonight they're bearing down on Baffle Creek, a community right in the fire's path.
Been through the 13 flood, over the roof and that, survived that. Been through October flood last year, survived that. Now we've got bushfires.
More than 70 fires are burning in Queensland, with smoke so thick it's seen from space, fuelled by tinder-dry conditions and temperatures over 40 degrees.
It's unprecedented for us to be seeing these kind of fires with this kind of fire energy at this time of the year.
So far, at least 4 homes are ruined, and the likely toll is many more, leaving those who've fled uncertain what they'll find on return.
We don't know what we're going to find, that's the thing.
But I don't know if we've got anything to get to, like whether the house is still there or not.
Some will return to ghostly landscapes where horses graze on scorched black earth. And with the fires still fiercely burning, many more homes could soon look like this.
Ukraine has imposed martial law in regions bordering Russia and Russian troop postings. The move comes after Russian forces fired on and seized 3 Ukraine naval ships in a shared waterway. The clash is the first open conflict between the nations since Russia annexed Crimea in 2014.
Off the coast of Crimea, Russian border guards on collision course with the Ukrainian Navy. The Russians target a tugboat. The hint is less than subtle. Later, Russian forces shoot at, then seize the tug and 2 other Ukrainian vessels. This apparently a mayday from a Ukrainian sailor as the Russians storm his boat. A Russian replies. The vessels were towed to Russian-controlled Crimea. 23 Ukrainian servicemen have been detained. After the dramas at sea, the political battles over who's responsible.
Moscow's reaction: don't blame Russia. Officials here have been presenting what happened as a Ukrainian provocation in Russian territorial waters. Well, Ukraine rejects that and insists this was an act of aggression against its navy.
On the streets of Kiev, they agree. Death to Russia, he shouts. Protests and pyrotechnics outside the Russian embassy. Ukraine's president, Petro Poroshenko, called for 30 days of martial law in parts of the country. To some, the incident is a reminder of just how dangerous the Russia-Ukraine conflict is.
The war continues to be life.
and the war could escalate any moment.
At sea and in the sky, Russia has sent a clear message to Ukraine and to the West. Don't mess with Moscow.
After a 6-month voyage from Earth, NASA's InSight Mars lander has touched down on the red planet. And while it may be one of our closest neighbors, it's actually 54 million kilometers away. The InSight lander will now start its mission on Mars to collect information about the makeup of the planet's deep interior. It is hoped that digging below the surface will provide information on how Mars was formed and how it evolved.
Touchdown confirmed.
Mission Control dizzy with excitement and relief. The dramatic 7-minute plunge towards Mars ending in triumph.
I am over the moon. It's like incredible. This is my first mission.
The whole room went crazy. My inner 4-year-old came out, but it was not bad. Some of the people on the team had made a timeout area for me just in case. I didn't have to use it.
Down to Earth.
That's correct. They got it. There he is. Wow, right.
Sent from the InSight robot before its lens cap came off. A clearer photo sent hours later showing a vast flat plain dubbed the biggest parking lot on Mars and where the billion-dollar mission landed. The probe hit Mars's atmosphere at 24 times the speed of a commercial jet, using a heat shield, parachute and rockets to bring itself to a gentle stop.
It was a soft landing. Everything was perfect, which is so rare. And now I just want more data. I want to see what's happening on Mars.
17 different missions have been sent to the red planet. Only 7 have made it. The last attempt, also successful, 6 years ago.
Our accuracy is comparable to shooting a basketball from Staples Center in downtown LA and hitting nothing but net in a basketball hoop in New York City that is moving at a speed of about 2 feet per second and is spinning about its axis.
This will be the first probe to drill deep into Mars's surface. The data will be used to understand the structure of the planet and figure out how rocky worlds like Earth, the Moon and Mars form and evolve.
Mars was a habitable planet about 3 billion years ago, and then something happened, and now it is desolate.
These first couple of pictures of a place no human has ever seen before also remind us that in order to do science, we have to be bold and we have to be explorers.
From small steps to giant leaps, a new 2-year mission now begins to unlock the mysteries of Mars.
General Motors has dropped a nasty surprise on thousands of employees and America's president. It's announced the closure of 5 car plants, including one that President Trump made an election promise about.
At the White House today, President Trump said he called General Motors head Mary Barra to express his displeasure over GM's plan to shutter 5 North American plants.
I spoke with her when I heard they were closing, and I said, you know, this country's done a lot for General Motors. You better get back in there soon.
Facing slumping sales, General Motors will stop making 6 underperforming sedans by the end of next year, idling plants in Ohio, Michigan, Maryland, and Ontario, Canada, costing nearly 6,000 factory employees and 8,000 salaried workers their jobs. More than 300 could be laid off from this GM plant in White Marsh, Maryland. Josiah Fowler got his job through his grandfather, who worked at the plant for 50 years.
The bad thing is to get this news on the day after we come back for Thanksgiving. So being with our family and our friends, and then they got to come back to work or wake up in the morning and hear this news, it's not easy for everybody.
The cuts are the largest since GM was bailed out by taxpayers during the 2008 financial crisis. They come as steel tariffs imposed by the Trump administration have cost the automaker $1 billion. The marketplace is also changing.
More and more people are buying these taller crossover SUVs, and so General Motors needs to make some drastic shifts to its product lineup to make sure that it's well prepared to sell the cars that people want to buy.
The layoffs are a blow to President Trump, who promised this during a 2017 visit to Ohio.
I said those jobs have left Ohio. They're all coming back. They're all coming back. Don't move. Don't sell your house.
GM stock closed up nearly 5% following the announcement. Before the company can close any plants, it has to come to an agreement with the United Auto Workers. The UAW union is pledging to fight.
It's hoped that the 6 rare pygmy whales that survived a marathon rescue mission in Northland, New Zealand, will remain at sea. They've now spent hours in the water, but are still lingering close to shore. 2 whales were euthanized during the dramatic operation involving hundreds of volunteers.
As 300 volunteers lined Northland's remote Rarawa beach, experts surrounded the whales, easing them back into the deep.
We had to get them past the breakers and then face them out, stabilise them, rock them for a while and then release them and get out of the water pretty quick.
As the waves crashed in, a human chain was formed.
Whale comes towards you, you just step aside and let it come ashore.
And then the rare pygmy orcas were set free.
We were told to make lots of sounds to make it go out to sea and make it not come back to shore.
I had some metal rods that we banged together under the water to make noise. There was people splashing, jumping, clapping, just trying to make a lot of noise to scare them away.
The whales resisted, the helpers persisted, but more than 36 hours after being found on the opposite coast, the marathon effort proved too difficult for the 2 weakest whales. Volunteers were told to step back as they made their way back to the beach, where they were euthanised.
We made the decision to think for the rest of the group, give them the best shot, because they'll call out and the rest of the group can come back in.
My heart is broken. This half is broken, this half is joyous because we've still got 6.
The remaining 6 whales slowly swimming back out.
For a species we know nothing about, we're really pleased that we've got that far throughout the day.
The volunteers gave it their all this morning and their efforts have paid off. It's been several hours since the refloat and the whales are almost out of sight. They're about 600 metres offshore. They're heading north and I'm told they've perked up.
But they're not out of the woods yet, and the professionals will be monitoring their progress, hoping the whales will be out of sight by tomorrow.
Back home and to the Morobe province, a 26-year-old teacher and mother of 3 today witnessed the graduation of her 9 students who attended a privately run school in Lae. Dorcas Paul used to teach her students in the classroom while caring for her 1-year-old son. Mrs. Paul said she disciplined herself not to dwell on her challenges as a mother, but to enjoy what she does best as both a mother and a teacher.
This is how 26-year-old teacher Dorcas Paul teaches in a classroom at the Bethany International Christian Academy in Lae. The class consists of 10 students from ages 6 to 9 years old. The students are taught using 2 combined school curriculums, the Accelerated Christian Education, or ACE, and ABECA. Mrs. Paul teaches these students while caring for a 1-year-old son.
I didn't worry about anything. I think about the students in class because they're the ones I'm going to mold them, save them for their future.
Mrs. Paul is from Siasi in Morobe. She's a trained phonics teacher and has been teaching here since last year. The school was established in 2017 and has over 40 students with 5 teachers. Mrs. Paul's class is one of the classes that improved this year. She continues to teach despite challenges faced raising 3 children.
I used to give them work. Whenever when the baby cries, then I have to try my best to make him sleep. And then when he sleeps, I have to make him sleep, and then I return back to look for check the students, how they go with their work.
The first part of the school's second graduation was held this morning at the Our Saviour Lutheran Church in Lae. Mrs. Paul's graduating class were dressed in the yellow gown, while the ABCs who were graduating to upper primary were dressed in blue. The second part of the graduation was held at the school with the awarding of academic awards that were donated by Prima Small Goods and Lae Biscuit Company. Julie Badui Owa, National MTV News, Lae.
Here with National MTV News is Tuesday. Stick around, we'll have some sporting action coming up your way next on Trukai Sports. Stay tuned.
Gold Nuggets cheese, chicken, and cheese and onion all just got bigger. A lot bigger. 40% bigger. Look for the new Big Plus 35-gram packs. Bigger packs, better value at the same low price. That's right. 40% more Gold Nuggets in every pack for you to enjoy.
For nearly 3 decades, the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum has been promoting free trade and development in the Asia-Pacific region. Through APEC, economic output in the Asia-Pacific has more than doubled, helping businesses' growth and employment. Through APEC, we are strengthening our economy, particularly in areas such as small businesses, tourism, agriculture, and information technology. We will continue to grow our economy and create more jobs as we host APEC in 2018.
I run hard. I tackle hard. I train hard to execute the winning game plan. But I am also doing voluntary contribution to Nurse Fund for my retirement. Are you a Nurse Fund member? Be like me. Do voluntary contribution and start kicking goals for retirement.
They continue to invade our homes, disrupt our livelihoods and threaten our health. But we can stop this cycle of destruction. Reach for Mortein's fast knockdown multi-insect killer. Our trusted technology knocks down and kills flying and crawling insects fast. Trusted technology that kills fast. And at night, you can rely on Mortein coils to repel mosquitoes and protect your family. Choose Mortein for trusted family protection.
More smart, more safe, Mortein.
Hello, name below me Lua Rikis. Taimi Pilai Netball one-time PNG Peppers national team. Made lo practice lo come up good all get a time. Taimi Pilai Pinis. All get a good la passing lo wasim hand one-time soap me must make him. Before me kai or behind lo golo toilet. Also na all get a time midi lo practice wasim hand one-time soap.
The mining and petroleum industry trains teachers and builds classrooms. We invest millions of kina to run medical centers and health programs. We build roads and bridges to connect communities to essential services. And we help fight tropical diseases and supply clean drinking water to keep PNG healthy.
Mining and petroleum, growing PNG's future.
Brought to you by the PNG Chamber of Mines and Petroleum.
Wednesday on Marvel Runaways. Nico investigates the staff of One, but is unable to control its power and calls Alex for help.
Something I say about this.
Why is he? She doesn't know.
What the hell? Now, you could have called anyone for help, but you called me.
Sorry to bug you, but I ran into Carol.
Marvel Runaways, Wednesday, 9 p.m. right here on your number one to watch, EMTV.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Former SP Hunter players who have been contracted to overseas clubs have not been allowed to train with the pre-season train-on squad for the Hunters. SP Hunters coach Michael Murrum says they will be allowed to use the facilities but will not join the team in training.
Over the past 5 years, players leaving the SP Hunters to join other clubs overseas were given the privilege to train with the team during pre-season for fitness purposes. Early this year, former SP Hunter Komul and Mounties winger Kato Otio was bound to join the Widnes Vikings for the 2018 season, but suffered a severe heat stroke while on a run with the SP Hunters train-on squad, which unfortunately resulted in his passing. This year, Coach Michael Murrum has stopped players who are travelling overseas from training with the team due to this past experience.
You know, some of those other players that are going overseas will be probably coming in to join the boys to train. We won't allow it. We had an incident last year where we allowed one of our former players to come in, join the team, and then we lost him. So just in that regard, we don't want to repeat the same thing.
He says players will be allowed to use the gym and other facilities, but will not join the team for training, rather do their own training.
But we're here to support them as well. We're going to provide the gym for them, we're going to provide a bit of medical for them, the field training, we can provide ice, water, but they won't be training with a big group together. Most of them will want to, but we'll really be strict on them. So.
The SP Hunters are currently in their first week of pre-season training, having started 3 weeks late due to the Apex Leaders Summit. Most of their training will be done in Port Moresby at the Oil Search National Football Stadium. They will have 5 weeks of intense training before going for a break on the 23rd of December. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Still in Rugby League, Day 3 of the Fuzzy Nines again saw thrilling action for Team Young Guns. It was another good day this morning, defeating All Tribes Combo to maintain the top spot in the competition. Porivai with the details.
It was a start they needed to maintain their position in the tournament with the strong defense.
Today's game, we strategize on our defense. Yeah. It's our defense. It's a nice game, so anybody can score. But then we emphasized our game plan on defense, so they pulled it off on our defense. We've been winning our games on our defense. Yeah.
Coach Gyro says the preparations were normal, with much of the team made up from members of the Under-20 Southern Zone team.
So Wari Barage decided to put them together in the 11th hour. But I mean, they've been playing together, so hopefully we're just here to enjoy the game. We got nothing to lose. We're just an underdog team.
In today's game, it was the leading try scorer in the tournament, young Joe Oliver, who led the Young Guns to defeating All Tribes Combo 16-4. Young Guns are now looking forward to the Cup quarter-final match tomorrow. Porivai, National EMTV Sports.
And the Oil Search National Football Stadium was full of action as the Fuzzy Nines tournament headed into Day 3 matches today, with style footy shown by a lot of the teams. One of the Aroma Coast teams in the competition, the Sapporo Magpies, led by PNG Puk swinger Freddie Rover, defeated Funeral Home Llamas Team 2, securing a spot in the finals.
PNG Puk star Freddie Rover showed brilliant attacking and defending skills alongside his young teammates from the Sapporo Magpies to beat the Llamas. The Puk winger played amongst many young talents from Aroma Coast and says the tournament is a better way of developing young players.
Side the players, we promote more young talents from rural areas la Aroma Coast Lilikol.
Rover, who is waiting for the next season to continue training for the Puk squad, said the tournament is one way of maintaining his physical fitness.
Play 7 fast league, I'm fast game. We can play 9, I'm a bit slow. Yeah, I'm good for tournament. Me like keep him fitness. Me go Christmas New Year.
Meanwhile, all pool games finished today. The finals will begin tomorrow, but only the top 16 will advance to the quarterfinals. The Magpies, who are in the second spot in the tournament, secured their place in the finals, winning all their pool games. Suli, National EMTV Sports.
Don't go anywhere. Trukai Sports will continue after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Whatever our work may be, sing out strong as far as you can see. Whatever language people are taught, come on, everyone join in. An exciting adventure is about to begin. 'Cause there's one thing we all know, when it's time to get up and go. Sharing stories make the call. Our favorite biscuit, the best of all. M now, BFG. M now, BFG. M now, BFG.
Do you know your status?
Yes, I do.
Do you know your status?
Yes, sir.
Do you know your status?
Yes.
Do you know your status?
No.
Don't know your status? Get tested. Know your status and get treated. PNG. Together we are stronger than HIV/AIDS.
This message was authorized by the Director of the National AIDS Council and brought to you by the National AIDS Council Secretariat.
The FIBA Under-15 Oceania Championship is here in Port Moresby. Come, let's support our very own Team PNG as they face neighbouring rivals Australia, New Zealand, Guam, Tonga, Fiji and Samoa. The championships will be held from the 4th to the 8th of December at the Tauranga Aquatic Centre. To purchase your tickets, go to the link. Matches will be streamed live on EMTV Online.
I love the way you taste. I love the easy meal.
I love family dinner time.
I love my true kind.
I love the quality. I love the yummy smell.
I love the energy and strength.
I love my true kind.
So many reasons, all of us agreeing. So put on your t-shirts and let's all sing.
I love my true kind.
I love my true kind.
I love my true kind.
Let's sing it again.
I love my true kind.
I love my true kind.
I love my true kind. PNG's rice, the very best rice, 'cause we all love a true kind.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To some sporting news overseas, play has resumed on day 4 of the second test between the Black Caps and Pakistan, with New Zealand now 141 for 2. It follows the disastrous first innings where the Black Caps spectacularly collapsed, securing some of the most unwanted records.
A combination of a reckless shot and bad luck. The beginning of a new low in New Zealand cricket history.
We can't quite believe how he's just got out.
Jeet Raval likely can't believe what followed either. Yazir Shah removing Latham, Taylor and Nichols in a triple wicket maiden, then playing a part in the run-out of BJ Watling.
What was happening out there? Yes, no, wait, and by that time it was all too late for BJ Watling.
Colin de Gronholm's UAE struggles escalating with another duck, now 22 runs in his last 8 innings.
Oh, once again, close. And given out once again.
69 for 6, Pakistan into the tail. A tail with no defence for Yazir's wizardry.
Oh, big shout, yeah. It's one for Yasir Shah. What an unbelievable spell of bowling.
The Black Caps going from 50 without loss to 90 all out. 6 ducks, the equal most in a test innings. Yazir's figures of 8 for 41, the best against New Zealand.
That doesn't happen very often in test cricket, and I think you've got to take your hat off to him.
After being forced to follow on 328 runs in arrears, the Black Caps managed to get through to 131 for 2 at stumps. The only trouble, Yazir Yazair getting both the scalps of Raval and Williamson.
Yasser Shah becomes first Pakistani to pick 10 wickets in a day.
The Black Caps in a Yazair spin and facing another challenge in the UAE.
Kiwi driver Brendon Hartley has been dumped from Formula One a year into his 2-year contract. Toro Rosso, which acts as a junior team to Red Bull Racing, has replaced him with a younger driver. So where to now for the 29-year-old?
Brendon Hartley could be forgiven for thinking the Formula One gods have been against him this year.
Yeah, you almost ran me off the road, mate. Okay, something just hit my head.
Things haven't always gone my way.
A combination of bad luck and poor results saw Hartley finish 19th out of 20.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay.
In the cruel world of Formula One, it's results that count.
Toro Rosso axing him in favour of British-born Thai Alexander Albon.
He has had some unfortunate things happen to him. He hasn't had the best strategic plan, but nonetheless, the bottom line is his job is to beat or equal his teammate. And he didn't do that on most occasions.
Speculation's been rife for months that Hartley's position was on shaky ground.
Having to answer questions about my future every week, which is getting increasingly annoying. And I've read in the media I need to be my teammate.
Now he's unlikely to get another shot at F1.
But I think any team in the grid should pick up somebody like Brendon Hartley, in fact, because he has so much experience. I would think some teams would do very, very well indeed to keep him on as a reserve driver.
Or a return to Porsche could be on the cards, with Formula E another option. Hartley's camp is expected to comment in coming days. Despite a tough year in the cutthroat world of Formula One, there's no doubting Hartley's ability.
Brendon is a resilient driver. He bounced back from being sacked by Red Bull from Formula One. He bounced back from being somebody who was pretty down about that. He bounced back to be a world champion.
A feeling that's eluded the former Le Mans winner as the checkered flag comes down on his ride with Toro Rosso.
And Trukai Sport ends on that note. We go for a break, and when we come back, we take a look at the weather for the next 24 hours. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sport. Trukai Sports.
You too can now experience the refreshment of pure PNG with True water, sourced from an ancient aquifer, carbon filtered, ultraviolet and ozone treated, and the finest purification with reverse osmosis.
And that means the science lesson is now over. Settle back and refresh yourself with PNG's finest. Reach for a chilled True water. Pure PNG.
For nearly 3 decades, the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum has been promoting free trade and development in the Asia-Pacific region. Through APEC, economic output in the Asia-Pacific has more than doubled, helping businesses' growth and employment. Through APEC, we are strengthening our economy, particularly in areas such as small businesses, tourism, agriculture, and information technology. We will continue to grow our economy and create more jobs as we host APEC in 2018.
In our harsh and vibrant landscape, Dulux Weather Shield is the perfect choice to protect your building against everything Mother Nature throws at it. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
Look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, a shower or two expected in Kerma. Showers easing in Popondetta, mostly fine and hot 33 degrees for Port Moresby, Daru and Alotau. To the Momasa region, a shower or two expected in Ley with a top of 32 degrees, 27 and showers expected in Wau. Rain and showers at 32 degrees for Madang, Wibak and Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, rain and thunderstorms expected in Lorangau, Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul, as well as in Buka. A shower or two expected in Kimbe. And in the Highlands region, the major centres of Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabik can all expect a few showers this evening with early morning fog developing.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that has been the news, sport and weather for today, Tuesday, the 27th of November, 2018. On behalf of the entire MTV News team right around the country, pleasant viewing on your number one to watch. Good night.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Paradise Foods and Paradise Beverages.